You want to talk division previews?
Yeah. If we thought one Taylor was enough on this show, we got another one just for you.
View from the other bench.
All right, something we've done for the past 8 years as camps get underway around the queue. We like to do a Maritimes division preview, and this time we begin on the island with Gameday Ops coordinator Taylor Stewart. Taylor, how are you tonight?
Great, thanks for having me, guys.
I guess just this season on the island. Last season wasn't where they wanted to be. I saw in an article Jim Holton was saying this is the most competitive group he's brought to camp. I guess in the first few days, what have you seen from this group?
So we actually just checked in our training camp today. So everyone landed around 3:00 at Simmons Arena in Charlottetown, and they got a couple practices in this evening of white and black, and then tomorrow we go into the inter squad games. We have 2, I believe, tomorrow, and then 1 on Tuesday before our preseason gets underway on Wednesday. So we'll have the Al Cusson Cup going on there at Simmons. So hopefully get the chance to see some of those games. And like you read off Jim's quote there, I think this is probably the most excited I've been since my first year at the team for that finals run. Just a lot of movement, a lot of big bodies coming in, and it's probably, like Jim said, he wished the camp would have started back in June. He was just excited, and we were all just pumped up from how things were looking. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how camp gets along, and I don't think any job is safe. So when that's the case, there's hard decisions to be made, but that also means that you're going to see some really competitive hockey games even before the season gets underway.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, Islanders are a team. They've struggled in the postseason. Just getting out of the first round hasn't exactly been very good to them. Do you see this season kind of being that stepping stone that the franchise needs to take to get to that next level?
Yeah, I do. I think this is going to be a season like we haven't seen in the last 3 years. We've struggled, as you mentioned, 0-12 the last 3 postseasons. Just not really been able to get the bounces, obviously, with how things went leading up to those rebuilds. We were fortunate with some winning seasons, but that also costs you in the after everything is said and done. So we experienced the pain from a couple losing seasons there for the rebuild. But I think after Christmas last year, the guys kind of really were able to turn it around. We got pretty hot there in the second half, and they started to find their identity a bit more. And I think going into this season, just the returning core that we have, they've had some time to grow over the summer, keep training hard, and now they come into camp knowing. And Jim said today he just welcomed to camp, but as soon as he was done with welcome to camp, he said, "Summer's officially over. Like, your summer is done now.
Mm-hmm.
It is time for hockey. We're here for one reason only, to win the Memorial Cup." So he didn't take too long to lay the hammer down with the group of kids that came in today, and I think you're going to see just an Islanders team that's ready to, I don't want to say take a trophy, but I think you're going to see a team that's definitely improved and could make a run at doing something special in the postseason.
Well, we're not exactly ready to give that trophy up just yet, so we'll see how that plays out. But I guess in net, this is season 9, and 9 years of Charlottetown hockey's been a stand on the head goaltender that just gets you wins. Sometimes when you don't think it needs to happen, and sometimes it's just that backbone. You made a deal to bring in Vincent Gladeau. Just talk about kind of what he brings along with Donald Hickey, who I will say has one of the best pictures on the league website with his blocker and glove holding a stick like that. Just talk about those two in the net, and is that a quote unquote foregone conclusion? Those are the goaltenders moving forward, and what can they bring in stability to this team?
I think Hickey for sure is definitely cemented his spot. Obviously, last season under Nicholas Ruccia, he was able to come in and kind of take the reins at one point throughout the season. He's just a workhorse. He's the first guy into the building. He's the last guy out when you arrive for a game day. Most players get there 3 hours or so before, but he's there 4, if not 4.5, 5 hours before a game, bouncing the ball off the wall to himself. Got the headphones on. He's an absolute workhorse out of Newfoundland there. Like all off season, he works in a boat with his brother, just chucking, I think it's crabs they do. They're just hauling traps off and on. So the coaching staff was making jokes in Rimouski in the playoffs, saying they should be sending all the guys over to Newfoundland with him for some off-season training. But
Yeah, that's in Alberta. It's called farm strength. I think out in the Rock, it's probably called fisherman strength. Like it's
yeah,
a different strength
exactly.
than being at the gym.
No, he's an absolute workhorse though. He's the kind of guy that you want to mold a hockey player after with just his dedication to the game. I don't know a lot about Vincent yet. I got the chance to chat with him for just a couple seconds today when everyone checked in, but from what I've heard from our goalie coach Paul Drew, they loved him. He didn't get I think he had 22 games or so last year with Blainville. Not
Mhm.
exactly a seasoned guy in the queue yet, but they like him a lot. And I think Jack Carter is another big name that people might have forgotten about since last training camp. But he really impressed last year. Ended up going to Stansted College. They weren't able to convince him to stay back because he had a commitment there. But I think from the sounds of it, you're looking at probably those three guys. Hickey's probably got a spot. I think everyone can
Mhm.
safely feel that one.
Yeah.
But I think Ledoux is gonna have a good battle on his hands with Jack Carter. Like I said, they loved him last year, and he's here for camp this year again. So I think he's gonna be a name to watch as well.
Yeah, looking at the 20-year-old situation, brought in Tyler Peddle, so that's one of your spots there. I'm not too sure about the other two. I think you got to make an argument for Max Jardine, given his I guess his involvement in the community. Where do you see the third 20-year-old spot going this year?
It's tough to say. Like the trading period's still not even closed yet in the QMJHL, so anything could happen from here on out. But like you said, Tyler Peddles, most would assume has a spot locked down after the trade there. Like you said too, with Jardine, just he's an all around great guy. He's committed to the island, plays baseball at the Senior Islanders here, so he stayed here all summer again this year and is back for camp again. He had the chance to go with the baseball Islanders actually to Alberta for the Nationals, for the Senior Men's Nationals, but decided to stay back and skip that opportunity because he knew how important this camp was. Just the fact that he's fighting for a 20-year-old spot, so he's dedicated. And like you said, I think it'd be hard to see the Islanders without Max Jardine, just with the guy he is on and off the ice. And then Leak had a good offseason getting to go to the LA Kings development camp, but Powers trained really hard too back in Ontario, and he's a good guy. I got to catch up with him for a few minutes. I know him a little better than some of the guys on the team, and he great guy. Got to chat some hockey and some golf, but I think Jim's gonna have obviously you like to have options, but he's gonna have a really tough decision to make there with what ends up happening with that last 20 spot. But I think we're in just as good a shape looking right now. Either way, you have big body and league. Powers a good face-off guy, and another not that small himself, and they both provide a lot of guts and a lot of energy on the ice. So I'm pretty confident that whoever ends up getting it will be very helpful for our franchise.
I want to talk about a guy that leading up to the trade deadline was probably one of the more common names that I know I talked about to helping teams and getting you guys back a haul, and that's Marcus Kearsy again in his fourth year. Him and Owen Conrad kind of being the stables on that defense. Just talk about what he's going to bring to that decor, like you said, along with Jardine and Conrad in terms of leadership. I can't remember who your captain is, and if it's not him, do you think it will be him going into this season?
Yeah, so Kearsey did have the C last year.
Okay, I couldn't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, but I'm hoping for a bigger jump. Honestly, from what I've seen the last couple of years, he's a pretty good kid off the ice. You did a lot with us. Obviously, humanitarian of the year season. Jardine then the season before was him, but he's another good kid who provides a lot of energy, loved in the locker room, and with that C on your chest, at going into your 19th season, that's when you really want to see another big jump by a player just to prove who they are on the ice. And
Mhm.
I think Kiersey's had a couple pretty solid years here, and now that he's got a little more pressure off his back, in my opinion, with kind of the guys we brought in, our decor's looking really really strong and really big. That the upgrades we made in the offseason. So I think with a little less pressure on him, he's got some guys back there that'll be able to take some of the heat off his back, and I think that'll help him grow and kind of maybe have hopefully a breakout season at 19 years old with the help he's got.
Yeah, this is the first time we have been on the show, so I know, and being on the Islanders payroll, I know this question might be a little difficult for you, but we usually get our preseason guests to give us their league finals prediction.
I thought you were going to go a different question.
No.
I thought you were going to ask about Pro Rocher.
Oh, no, it's okay. You can ask about that one, but I wasn't sure where we were going. But
it's all good.
We're got we're not new.
It's our training camp too.
It's our training camp too. Yeah, exactly. So mistakes happen, but yeah, it's always tough to. I know it's gonna be tough to not pick your team to make it to the finals. So, I mean, who do you see realistically maybe ending up facing off against each other? In beginning of May of next year.
Oh well, I was actually looking at this a little earlier. I think Blainville is gonna be really strong this year.
Yeah.
Just looking at their roster, the additions they made in the offseason, I think it's pretty safe to say their intentions are pretty clear now in the league that they're taking this year as their go for it year. So
yeah,
Blainville's probably gonna be pretty tough to take down. Chicoutimi is always interesting to me. I don't. They made a couple moves last year. They always seem to be kind of adding and subtracting at the same time, if that makes sense, where you're not quite sure what's happening, but they got a couple good players there still in Messe and Wang's there as well, and I think they're gonna be good again this year. And then you guys over in Moncton, obviously the Cup champs last year, and I don't think there's a whole lot of subtraction that was done to that roster. You got quite the 20 situation right now from what I can remember, trying to pick what that's going to end up being. But obviously with that many, or whoever you end up with is going to be good, and hopefully be able to bring in some pieces if there's some trades. If you obviously can't keep them all, and then hopefully one can always hope we go for a deep run as well. I think this is going to be quite the year of a difference from what we've seen the last three. I think it's a strong team. I think that, like I said, the D-core has gotten huge. A couple 6'3", 6'4" guys coming in, big physical guys. The goalie situation is going to be solid, and I think if with the group we have now up front, we're already ahead of last year, and then there's still the Ivan Ryabkin card out there that if that all comes together and we get to welcome him to the island, I think that just separates us even further, and it's going to be a heck of a team offensively.
All right. Well, you named the final four, so now you got to pick two, and we're not holding to this. We'll have you on around the trade deadline. You can change your prediction, but now we need the two finals there. You named the final four, so what's your two?
All right, I'll go Blainville, and then I have to say us. Okay. Yeah, but
for the sake of your job security.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I do believe we got a special group coming in, but I think Blainville's also probably going to be a really tough team coming out of the West there.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, as long as I've been here, it's been Holton Hockey, and he gets the most out of the little. And now he's got a team that's got something, and so it'll be interesting to see how they translate that to the on ice. It's going to be a competitive division. Taylor, we appreciate you taking the time and being our second Taylor on tonight's show. And hopefully we can have you on around the draft and see how you guys are making out, or the trade deadline, I mean.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
It's kind of I'm excited to see what, like I said there, Holton Hockey, when he doesn't have the best roster, gets the most out of them. And it's funny. Was it year 4? We were like, is his leash running? Is his vision running? 5 years later, he's still there, and still, that's a city and that's a province, because they all love the team, that deserves a playoff run. Yeah,
it's the Island has been, I guess, blessed with the Summerside Capitals and all the wins that they've brought back to the Island, and I think it's time for the Islanders to make that next step. And it's two Taylors on the episode. Ironically, has nothing to do with the new Taylor Swift album to be released on October 3rd, The Life of a Showgirl.
All right. And we move from Taylor Swift and we continue to look around the division. We head to Nova Scotia. We head to Halifax. We're going to bring on a first-time guest. He's the host of the Mooseheads Nation podcast from Halifax, Dustin Larad. Dustin, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys, Adam and Jeremy? How are you doing?
Very well.
We're not bad. It's camp season. We get to slowly ramp this thing back up, so it's going pretty well. I guess I'll start with with the change behind the bench, I think this is the third coach in 3 years for the Mooseheads, which, when I got here, it didn't seem like that was a thing. It was Moncton that had 7 coaches in 7 years, something like that. But yeah, Andrew Lord out, Brad McKenzie in. I guess just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, great for Andrew. Certainly, he's familiar with the Kings organization, being with the Swamp Rabbits before in the ECHL. So,
Yeah.
Great fit for him. Obviously, selfishly, you would hope he would have stayed a bit longer because of what he was able to do in his first year with that young team. He got the best out of them. I mean, but Brad's been here for, I think this will be his 4th or 5th. I think it's his 5th year, going into his 5th year, and he's got a lot of experience, and I think he has a very similar mindset to Andrews, and I think that team's really going to pull behind him as well. So it's great to see him get to be moved up there, and I think it's a really nice move on the Simons part to put that in place right away, so there's no guessing game for us as who's coming in, and we've got a familiar face. So
yeah. Brad McKenzie it was his time. I think I would have been. It's funny because when you're a Moncton fan and you get upset when your rival doesn't make the right decision, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Right. So Brad McKenzie he's been through it. Over the years that he's been in Halifax. So it was good that it was his it's his team to take over. So I was happy with that move. Obviously, Mooseheads have kicked off, their training camp. What have you seen so far? Have you been to the scrimmages and I guess first impressions?
Yeah, this morning they had an inter-squad game, and there was one in the afternoon too. I didn't catch that because I'm actually in Moncton right now. So I came up after the first inter-squad game, and a few things that stood out to me. Oleg Kulibiakin, one of the imports.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the lower body strength on that kid already, like he looks like he's going to be hard to move off the puck, and his skill. He scored 1 goal, I think, in each game, if I read correctly. So he's looking good. Will Bent, returning player too. Like he just looks like he's good. He was good, but he looks like he's got something to prove right now. I think he had 4 goals in the second game, the inter-squad game, and he's 17, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was showing a lot and really showing up. Someone that just looked like a force, Connor McPherson, that the Moose have brought in. I'll be honest, I forget where he's coming in from, the V's, I think, but he's a big guy. Like that's going to be a nice big power forward, and I feel that's something that we were probably lacking last year, being a young team and perhaps undersized compared to when we had to go against the Wildcats and some of the other teams. I think that's huge for us. And Malik L'Italien, like their first rounder on defense, just smooth as butter too. Like on the ice, he's got the size. Like I'd be very shocked he doesn't make that roster because he looked like in control. And I mean, again, just intra-squad, but he had a dominating presence. So those were some of the ones that looked pretty good. And I mean, I got to see a few other folks, players that I've had a chance to interview that looked good as well, like Jaden Napon, Nathan Ruel. He's a big kid too for how young he is. And Cameron Manello, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right. Like he looks like a little Quinn Hughes as well. I mean, he's probably taller than him, but he just seems to he's elusive. And so it's exciting seeing that. Obviously it's day one in the intra-squad games. But I think there's going to be some real tough choices for Brad and Cam to whittle this roster down. Like they all look really good. So that's exciting.
When you look at the Mooseheads the past couple seasons, obviously you had LaRue and Denoyer leadership. You had McKinnon, Vidicek leadership. Last year you had Brady McPhee and Schultz in the leadership role. I mean, this is a young team, and I mean, you guys have had one of the better documentaries in the CHL, so I've been watching that because I just love that kind of stuff. And, there was a tough ability to score. And, it's a young group again, and I guess just where do you see this leadership coming from? You only have one 20-year-old as a free agent right now, but I guess just where do you see leadership on this team moving forward with such a young group?
I guess from what I've seen last year, not being in the inner circle. If I was to make a guess, obviously Owen Phillips, who was an alternate captain last year, and was certainly someone the Moose could always count on the back end with Brady Schultz when he was here. I would really see him as forming part of that, and of course Sean Carrier too. Like he strikes me as the type that is gonna keep the team in check and motivate, and he seems to carry himself that way. And I guess those are the two that I would see as the leadership. But those that's all I can say. The rest is pretty young, right? So it'll be interesting to see who they choose.
I think Danny Walters, I think, is probably the future captain of the Mooseheads, right? I think to give him maybe an A in his second season.
Carlos Handel too.
Good call. Yeah, that's true.
To give him an A is like just to have him part of that leadership group, because he's probably getting that C, not this season, but the season after. So
I agree with you. Yeah,
he's just his work ethic is unbelievable. Like you mentioned, only one 20-year-old, which is so there's obviously going to be some moves to make, because you want to be able to bring in that additional leadership. Where do you see maybe the need the most in terms of maybe addressing those other two 20-year-old spots?
I mean, for me, I would think hopefully they're going to find a 20-year-old center to maybe carry the second line. Someone that's going to be able to shut down Moncton, number one. Of course, K. Breton, strong. Like,
good luck with that.
I know. So I would think, like, as you've mentioned, like scoring goals wasn't a huge strength last year, and we were very grateful we had Steinman in the net to help us out there in the end of the year. I think they need a very strong leader as a center. That's the biggest need I would see. So it wouldn't hurt if we could get two. I know there's a few 20-year-olds on your team that I'm hoping could swing over here. That'd be nice, because they would have that winning pedigree and could really help us to the next step.
Mm-hmm.
How about no? We've given you enough. Thank you very much.
Well, you guys got a few Mooseheads as well, right? With Crosby.
Yeah, that's true.
And,
that's true.
Vidicek. So
I think Crosby and McKinnon, if they're back, they can't go.
They can't go back.
They can't go back.
No.
They can't be traded back like the next year, kind of thing. I guess just the last one for me, and I always talk about goaltending, is in training camp. Jack Milner last year, Sam Magid got some playing time, but then you guys made a move with Shawinigan to get Owen Breeson. Is it kind of a three-headed monster, and whoever takes the crease takes the crease, or do you see it kind of a guy coming out of camp that could maybe cement one of those spots or steal one of those spots, I guess, like a fluid situation all year?
Right. Yeah. I mean, certainly someone that stood out this morning, Circa, looked pretty good. They were having a hard time getting anything by him when the first period he played, and he looked, with being able to move across and having been able to see him for a few games last year, like, I think he's got that experience. I guess I would see it as Circa and is it Bresson? I'm not even sure.
Bresson.
Yeah. So I think to your point, it's probably going to be a 2 to 3 headed monster till they get that figured out. But we got a little bit spoiled with Steinman for the last part of the year, and of course having Russo before. So that's going to be some big shoes to fill, no doubt.
Yeah. I guess last one for me, and being a first-time guest like yourself, Dustin, it's we usually do this every preseason where we ask our guests to give us their league finals prediction. So if you can look at maybe a few of the contenders and pick two who will face off against each other in early May.
I think we have to count Moncton in, as hard as it is as a Mooseheads fan. Say that.
I like this guy.
Yeah. he can come back.
Yeah, he can come back.
Great. Yeah.
Pretty easy. As long as you pick us, you can keep coming back. So.
Well, I did pick that was, it was hard to do, but it was hard. I think a lot of people had the Wildcats to win it, right? Last year, they were just so strong. And I would like to say, like, the pieces they got from the Mooseheads, I think that really fit in, and some of the missing pieces that you may have had. Of course, there's the McDougall effect as well, which was key. I would say for a final, I think we can't really disregard all the moves that Olivier Picard is making over there with the Armada. Like, Zonin is a beast, right? Got to see him in the playoffs just manhandle the Mooseheads last year in the second round. So adding Zahn in, and they added a few other players, but like Spencer Gill from Rimouski, massive defense. Like, they're going for it, right? Adding him, and then they've also bolstered their goaltending with Milota from the Eagles, and I know I'm missing someone, but those additions, I think they're going for it. So I think for me, as hard as it is to say, I see a Wildcats Armada final. I am very hopeful the Moose can replicate and get another first round win like they did this year, which was a bit of a nice surprise. That division with Cape Breton getting stronger, and the regiment are going to be a force as well. So those would be the two, though. Armada, Wildcat final is my prediction. And I hate to say it, it's hard to not see the Wildcats repeat with the pieces you have. But I think, I don't see a repeat for sure. I feel the Mooseheads are going to put a big push coming up here. But that's my prediction.
First time guest. He's got a spot at
Yeah,
forever.
he's locked
You're picking
in.
us to go back to back. You're locked in for forever.
Right.
Of course, if you want to pop by the trade deadline show, which you're more than welcome to, and I'll reach out to you again. We do something in December kind of thing. You can make different predictions based on how the season's going. And I know Blainville, one of the sneakier ads that they made that, people will kind of wonder was Collard. Like, it's not really sneaky, but his ability to play up and down the lineup and score, that's the addition that they made that I was like, that's going to be one of their better additions.
The Wildcats, yeah. Sorry for
that's probably the player you're
missing him, but call it. Yeah.
So, he's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time. We'll let you get out of here, but as a first-time guest and a new podcast up in Halifax, just where can people find you if they want to stay abreast on any Halifax news?
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. So on Instagram, I'm not the official one. We've got Moose Country with Brad Kesner and Scott, which is an awesome one. Please give that a listen. But for mine, it's called Mooseheads Nation. So on Instagram, Mooseheads Nation is the handle. On X, similar, and mooseheadsnation@gmail. If anyone wants to email me, I think those are the places you can find me. But like, I'm on all the appropriate podcasts now. We've been able to get a little bit more professional. Nowhere where you guys are at. Like, I'm pretty impressed just how this has started and being in the backstage and everything. So I'm hoping to maybe switch the video now. This will be great. But on Apple Podcasts, or we're on all the platforms now, as far as I know. So.
Perfect. Well, hopefully you get some subscribers from this. And if you have any questions on how any of this works, just reach out to me. I can give you as much knowledge as I can and what we've been able to do for the past 9 years. So, thanks for jumping on tonight, man. And you have a good night.
I always enjoy listening to you guys.
Hey, fans, did you just enjoy that video and you want more content just like that? It's real simple. Like and subscribe to the Wildcats Podcast YouTube page. Each and every week we have a podcast. We do interviews post-game after each and every home game. Sometimes we go on the road. We do interviews as well. You want to click that bell so you don't miss any content in case we go live. Again, like and subscribe to the Wildcats Podcast YouTube page, and thanks for watching.